Got it.
What's up, Tyler? What's up, brother?
Hey, bro.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good, nice to meet you. I'm Amala.
I think this is the first time I've popped on one of your lives.
Yeah, I seen you on the chat before. You know, you've been pretty active, so
Yeah, yeah. Whenever I mostly help on Cody's or Jacob's, but yeah, I try to ask a lot of questions, stay pretty active. But yeah, man, it's nice to meet you.
nice to meet you, bro.
You're in Hawaii, right?
On the island of Oahu.
Oahu.
Yeah.
That's epic. I it doesn't sound like you're from Hawaii. Where are you from?
Originally, I'm actually from Miami.
No way.
Yeah, born and raised in all parts of Miami. I was living like in Miami Beach, in Coconut Grove. I
Wow.
moved a lot, but yeah. I moved out here. It was only like 3-ish years ago, 3.5.
Solo? You moved to Oahu solo?
Yeah, bro. Actually, I was living in Colorado prior for like 5 years,
Wow.
and I lived in a temple and like kind of a little bit of a monastery, and yeah, I went
Oh,
from a bit of a, I would say it's almost like Vipassana in one sense, with like just how much we're in that zone, meditating and all the
wow.
discipline. But
Yeah.
yeah, from that transition, I was really feeling this like creative urge and a sense to adventure and find freedom. So got the blessings of everyone in the temple to transition out of the monkhood and grow my wings and fly. And so I flew out to Hawaii about a year later. Um and it was the intention was just to connect with nature and get to know myself more and feel like my elements again, because I like tropical weather a lot. So
Growing up
come
in
out.
Miami, sure, you love tropical. That is your element, the tropical weather.
Mhm. And
How
what about
did
you in the
you,
world?
actually, right now, man, I am in Nashville, Tennessee.
Mm,
I'm originally from Pittsburgh. Right now I'm headed to, I'm sure you've heard of Isha, the Isha Foundation.
it sounds familiar. Isha, what's that?
Sadhguru. I'm sure you've heard of Sadhguru.
Oh, Sadhguru, yeah. Sadhguru.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So that's amazing that you were living like a monastic sort of lifestyle for 5 years in Colorado. That's pretty
Mhm.
epic, and I'd love to hear more about that. But um, but yeah, man, I right now I'm in the airport. I'm headed
Mhm.
to the meditation center tomorrow morning, and I have kind of like an interview or like a meet for a meditation program that's
Mm.
happening at the end of April. And yeah, Amala, I've got introduced into Isha and Sadhguru maybe 2.5 years ago. I learned my first Hatha yoga program, and it was just it blew me away. And I ended up going through all of their programs. And yeah, Amala, right now, this is
Mhm.
the highest level program that they offer. It's called Samyama. It's 8 days of silence, long hours of meditation, and this is pretty much just like a meetup to ensure that this is what you want. You know what you're signing up for because it requires 60 days of intense prep where you have to have a really strict diet. You have to almost double up the practices that you do every day. And
Mm.
yeah, dude, that's where I'm headed right now. Only for a few days. I'll be heading
Oh,
back to Pittsburgh.
beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, and just like Cody, I decided to head to Guatemala for like about 2 months for this preparation for this meditation program. Because I live with family right now, and I want to be nestled into nature. I want to be in solitude. I want to be by myself so I can just simply focus on my sadhana and also on my trading. So,
Mhm.
fortunately, I've had like a pretty decent job, so I'll be able to put some savings away to keep me right for a while. And that's where I'm at, dude. And I'd love to hear about like
Excellent.
how things were for you in Colorado because I'm like sort of in that monastic kind of lifestyle where I just keep to myself. I do my practices. I don't really interact with many people. I'm sure
Mhm.
in the temple, you were around people who were on the same kind of path, you know, so it was
For
much
sure.
easier. You had the support, but I don't have the support of nobody around me is into what I'm into. So I'm my own support. My practices are my support. And it gets really challenging
Mhm.
at times, you know, because like when everyone around you is living in compulsion and you're trying your best to become conscious of like your patterns, uh, so much can come up. And, you know, there's so much repression that we all deal with. And the digger you, the deeper you dig, the more intense it gets, you know?
Yes, I
So
agree.
yeah,
Yeah, I was
man, that's
born in the week of the lone wolf, so I understand, how valuable it could be to have your time away from society and away from the main current of the flow of where everyone's going, and you find
mm,
your own path. You find your truth in your own self, which I feel like is a superpower, and
absolutely, bro.
it's honorable to take that time, because I feel like that really makes the biggest impact on the world. The more people can raise their consciousness, be aware of how we're treating the world, how we're treating ourselves, how we're treating one another,
Yeah,
and distancing from the crowd. I think that helps really create an individual, like, free thought, uh your own creative flow is in those spaces. So
my gosh.
that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that with me, and where you're at with your journey. That sounds like a great 2023 to come.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for listening, bro. I like I said, I'm you know, I live with family, but and I hop on these lives, but I never actually like connect. Like I'm normally just in the chat talking and I'll leave a comment or ask a question, but actually one-on-one speaking with someone, I don't do this very often. So it's super, super refreshing.
Oh, cool,
It's
bro. Welcome
nice.
in, welcome in.
Also to find, you know, a fellow trader who's dealing with the same sorts of things that I'm dealing with, is trying to find my way in the markets.
Yeah, bro. I've been trading for a year and a half. It's become a lot more familiar to me than it was when I first started. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
And learning something new every day with it. It really is a nice career path, if you call it that.
Hmm.
I love it because I've always been good at math. I like geometry. I like shapes and all, and I feel like I also like the fact that it teaches me how to be patient, uh, and not to really chase opportunities, but to know that they come whenever the mind space is ready to receive them.
Mm.
And
Gosh, well said, bro.
yeah, bro, it's beautiful. It's really challenging too because, like, I feel like it has made me face aspects of myself that um that it was like almost like a different level of meditation, if you will, because now we're talking about action and embodiment. And
Hmm.
it's really powerful when we have the downloads coming in from the universe, and can be really in the higher realms. And then um trading really teaches us, and it can, according to, if people have the mindset towards it, but to ground in those principles and practices, patience, self-control, tolerance, forgiveness of ourselves too, because we make mistakes. And that's what's beautiful with trading, is like one cannot become a successful trader without accepting the fact that mistakes are a part of it. And it's just how we deal with those mistakes that makes us successful.
Right, man. Well said, bro. So true. I'm curious of like how you found your groove. What strategy you decided on? If you went through like a ton of different strategies, if you decided on the higher time frames versus the lower time frames, and if you try to mold, did you try to mold yourself to a strategy that you learned, or did you try to create your own strategy based on, you know, your patience and like if you want to be in and out or if you want to be in it for a few days? I personally have found that studying a couple different strategies, although I want to be patient so bad, I also don't want to check my phone when I wake up. I don't want to look at the chart. I
Mhm.
don't want to see trading view notifications. I'd rather just, you know, trade for right now, for example, I'm back testing the Asian session and making small 1 hour, well, risking 1%, looking to make 1 to 2%, quick trades like in and out within like 30 minutes to an hour. So I'm
Mm,
curious of like the challenges that you ran into, and like how you navigated that, like how you kind of went about what feels right to me. Do I want to be in it for a few days? Do I want to be in and out and just have like the load off of my shoulders when it comes
mm.
to the markets?
Man, that's a great question, and to really get me thinking about that, because I've tried so many different styles and approaches so far, and I'm learning new things with indicators and everything. But when it comes down to just the basics, like at the end of the day, when I see a major support resistance level, uh, or I see a something in price action like an engulfing candle, uh, those usually the more simpler uh indicators have given me sometimes the most information. And it really depends where I'm at. If I have a free time, like when I got a few days off, I'm at home, I'm just like really chilling, I'm in the zone, I got the place to myself. um and if the market is in the correct circumstances, I really like doing high frequency trading, trading like the 5 minute, the 10 minute, or 20 minute, 30 minute. And when I feel like I don't want to spend much time on the markets too, I will look for maybe a bigger move. Like if I see the market doesn't have a immediate move for me, and I don't want to just like be waiting for it to hit the levels, I've been putting a little notification,
Yeah,
and it'll actually alert me on my phone. And then I'll ask myself a question. I say, well, do I have time to like look in the charts right now, or I'm in the flow of something else? And if I'm in the flow of something else, I'll just like let the opportunity go, because
yeah.
I remind myself that there's always opportunities in the market. Like it's not
Mhm.
going anywhere. And sometimes it's scary because like I want to catch all the fish. But in reality, it's just about a patience. And finding what works within flow. And today, for instance, this morning I was trading, like I was up pretty early in the morning, and I was trading, and I was having a good session, good flow. I didn't know that there was some kind of news that got released on USD, and I don't know if it was JPY as well, but I think I saw like three red folders that Cosmic Warrior had posted there. And I'm still learning about all that stuff, the news side of it, and keeping up with that.
Yeah,
But I did notice the volatility, and there was one point where I had my stop loss to probably like like a $10 risk, and it just the prices blew past the stop loss and like glitched, and then it got me out at like $86 on two different trades, and I was like, oh
yeah.
my
That's
god,
slippage, bro. That's slippage.
big
Like
slippage.
you'll lose more than you risk, and that's happened to me. I've gotten burned, and that shit's so annoying, bro.
Is annoying. Yeah.
It's the
And
worst.
I got all my emotions coming up, and I was feeling that, and I had to actually like pause myself and say, okay, well, uh you can recover from this. Don't take revenge on the market right now.
It's
Um
so easy too. It's so
like
tempting,
oh,
bro.
I want to put my lot size a little higher, be like, I'm gonna get that money right back. And I just had to pause myself, say, okay, wait a second, let me just wait out this little storm, because right now it's shaking.
Right.
And literally, let me show you this. I'm gonna show you my screen real quick
Mhm.
because this thing was so funny, bro. And the end of the day, I laughed and I went and took a nap, and I was like, I'm just gonna take a nap because trading. Oh, this is a little idea I had, but it went the other way. Okay. Um, what was on? It was on actually. I wasn't trading. I was trading the British pound,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, dude. Look at
right
that. Look at
here,
the
I
manipulation,
was
bro.
I was up right here at this candlestick. Look at this candle.
Look at that shit, bro. Literally knocking people out in both directions. They said we're about to
In
get
both directions, bro. It was complete.
we're gonna get everybody is what they said.
It was like I'm watching Naruto with my girlfriend lately. We've been kind of getting on. I haven't watched like the whole series in my life, and I was like, I just want to go through it and see. And sometimes it gets crazy, man. Like the battles. This is what it felt like right here. It felt like I was in one of those big battles where like, what the heck is going on?
Right.
But yeah, I was actually because I was actually trading it a little earlier, and I was getting some good buys in, and then suddenly like this candle went like I think my stop was like right here or something, and the candle went all the way down here. No, like this right here. Yeah, it went all the way down,
Yeah.
and I was like, why isn't my app responding in the slippage? And it's so funny, but it's like I got myself back in the zone later on, and I was able to make all that money back. So I'm happy I'm back at the break even.
Hell yeah. Right on, bro. Good stuff.
I'm actually doing the live challenge, the for the funded account challenge.
With who and what size?
10K, and I'm doing it with was it my Forex
My Forex funds.
funds? Yeah, my Forex funds. My
Yeah.
first one. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. I think tomorrow I'm gonna really get into it because I got the next 2 days just completely free and just gonna have fun, like um get up early, meditate, make sure I'm feeling flow. I might go into the ocean and just like get some beach time, and then yeah, just spend time watching the charts.
Man, it's really it's refreshing to hear you speak about how you responded to that big loss because man, it's tempting to want to jump right back in, especially when you feel like you've been like, man, like shit, like I lost so
Uh-huh.
much more than what I risked. And then it's like the mind wants to immediately get back in and get the money back. But it's really, it's nice to hear you explain how you brought it back to like the body, what you were feeling, and kind of noticed the like the contracted sort of energy and knew that it wasn't right to get back in, knew that you needed to step away because
Mhm.
when it's not happening, it's easy to say that. It's easy to say, oh, I'm not a revenge trader, I'm a conscious trader, right? I'm like a, I'm in the flow sort of trader. But to do it, to actually make it happen while you're live trading is like a completely different thing because sometimes
Mhm.
like emotions can be sort of overwhelming when you've got live money on the that you're risking. But
Yeah, bro, especially because like I'm like, okay, it's my first day and everything's going good.
oh, it's your first day on the challenge.
What's that?
Was it your first day on the challenge with
First
my
day,
Forex
first day on
funds?
the challenge. Yeah.
You never want to start off with a loss. Like I've taken a handful of challenges. You never want to start off with a loss. So like
Mm.
I feel you there, man. And
It
great
felt
self
good to
control.
transmute that because I feel like I handled it better than I have in the past.
Yeah.
Um, and like just to be able to be aware of my heartbeat and like slow down my breath, and really comfort myself in that moment, and remind myself it's not your fault. This is just the market's volatile now. And it was like I had a deja vu, or that feeling like I've been here before because I've seen those movements happen before, and I've experienced the challenges that can be there or the great amount of money it can be made as well.
Mm.
And so I realized to myself, like as easy as it is to lose on a trade, I can win on a trade just as easily. It's
Yeah.
just a bit of being able to be adaptable, flexible, and realize that something else is coming that I did not expect. I thought this was gonna be bullish, and then I took a little break, and then when I started seeing price action did not want to pass like right here, like it was just stuck in this zone.
Yeah.
I took a short, and I just put my stop loss right above. I put the right risk, and I actually rode this quite down. Like maybe I think I took my profits like close to like the end of this wick here. And I could have kept writing it, but I just felt satisfied. And I noticed like when I was writing in the good, like suddenly the other side of the spectrum comes in where I'm starting feeling like it can last forever. And I feel like there is also where it has to be like that's where meditation teaches us to come back to the center, because life will come in waves in both degrees, and the center road is the best road to take, to be equipoised, to be unaffected by success or failure, or as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, not to be attached to the fruits, but just to be in the flow of our actions, where they become like the reward. The reward is doing our best, and that's all we can do.
Mm,
And I've noticed that, like, just by following being staying committed to myself in that positivity, and being there for myself, it allows me to be there for others too. And allows me to open up and be like, when I share these things, because I think it's a thing that most traders experience, and some people will give up too easily. And when we realize, like, wait a second, we all gone through something similar,
mm,
I don't feel so alone. I don't feel like an outcast, right? I feel like, oh, we in this together, you know. And that's
yeah,
what's so beautiful about the community that we're building, is like, we're gonna bring more conscious people to add to the circle. And the beautiful expressions already happening in the group is amazing. And I'm grateful, honestly, to be here. I'm grateful to be here with everybody. And I know that I'm gonna be a better trader in the association of this type of community.
yeah.
um yeah, bro.
And I feel super grateful to be a part of, uh, the ascended trader in this Discord chat. Who people are not just like trying to make as much as they can, but we're trying to evolve. We're trying to be the greatest version of ourselves. And just like you said a few moments ago, like it comes down to always being there for yourself and
Mm,
like being genuine and honest with yourself, even when it's really easy sometimes to slip into behaviors of self sabotage. You know,
mm-hmm,
with trading especially, Amala, with
mm,
trading more than like probably most lines of work or most types of income, because you're totally free to jump back in if you want to. You're totally free to
mm-hmm.
do whatever you want with that mouse. But to like say to yourself,
Yeah.
oh, right now is not the right moment for me to be trading because my emotions are a little bit stagnant, or my
Mm,
emotions are a little bit like sort of feeling contracted. So I need to let this energy kind of pass and get back to it later.
yeah, man. It'd be like that for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I
That's awesome to hear that you're on a funded challenge and like making it happen, bro.
yeah.
Especially, I want to mention this, Amala, especially like when you have like freedom goals, like when
Mm,
you want to make a certain amount, when you want to make moves, you maybe want to do something with your girlfriend, or maybe do
mm.
some more traveling outside of Oahu, or do whatever you want
Most
to do,
definitely. Most
whatever kind of
definitely.
freedom goals that you have. But like incorporating, or I should say integrating, like the discipline and the mindfulness uh,
Mm,
that trading like requires you to have, it forces you to have, or else you'll just flop.
mm,
And
mhm.
like, it is a spiritual practice in and of itself. Like
Yeah.
it's like you said earlier, bro, it's a meditation. Like getting on the charts and not trying to jump into every single opportunity, but knowing that another one will come.
Mhm,
That's like a great skill, and it takes some time to develop. It takes some time, I feel like, of like
mm.
trading for a hot minute and learning your way before like we can get to that point.
Yeah, it's definitely not a race, and I have a lot more success when I'm patient with it. And um yeah, it's a beautiful teacher, to learn how to be adaptable to change. And the world
Yeah.
is change. And I think connecting with that changeless, which is the eternal energy where we all come from,
Mm.
that brings that type of energy and fuel that we're looking for. It's like to replenish our energies, so that our perspective, our awareness, my awareness becomes more refined when I feel rested, when I feel nourished, when I take some time before making any action. And I've noticed that if an emotion comes up and I'm able to view it without judgment, and when it comes up, just to view it without reaction as well. And
Mm.
it might be just be a sacred pause, is like what I like to call it. is when I am patient through it, where it's not a reaction. And because when we're by ourselves, that's meditation. I feel the work of meditation is really connecting with self. Is not really a right or wrong way. And I think it's just the presence of like the more I bring myself back to the moment, back to what's really going on inside, and I almost like to see it as scanning the body, scanning the existence, seeing what's there and checking in. And often will ask myself, is this the right reaction? Do I want to trade today? Oh, I do. And sometimes I'm feeling it like it's just I'm getting to this ecstasy, like I'm in complete happiness, and things are flowing the day. I spent like most of my time out in the ocean, the waters, the surf, had some good food, had some good conversations, connect with some old friends, whatever it might be. And when I'm feeling that like I think the Rastas like calling it bubbling. You know, when you bubbling, that's the best time to trade, I feel like, because then I've made so much return. I've been before I did this 10K challenge, I actually worked on my own demo account, and then I built it up to 15K before. I was like, all right, now I feel like, and it was through the last month I just did some, I was doing high frequency trading whenever I was feeling in the zone, and I had some good trading days. I swear, like it just felt like natural. It felt like clear,
Yeah.
and that's how I want to feel when I'm trading. And I've learned so much from like, you know, multiple demo accounts. I've emptied out demo accounts. I've emptied out real live funds before, and it's all part of the journey. Is like to recognize the power we have, because at the end of the day, it's like you said, we have the sovereignty to pick up our mouse and choose where we go, and we can choose to inaction as well, which I think is a power to have, is like the inaction. And so
Yeah.
everything's flowing, everything's going good. And I feel like anyone in our group, because I know that we got this record, we're gonna post it up onto the recordings, but when we go through these
Mhm.
challenges, we go through these difficulties, it's not that we are totally in that frequency. We actually have the ability to reverse. Just like the market changes directions, we can change directions through our own free will. And when we're feeling that way, there's ways to do that, to change the direction. And I would say I actually wrote little points I put here. Like this is my thought process when I'm in the market. Is at
Mhm.
first we'll breathe and let go of everything in the moment. When this I'm talking about, especially when the arrival of the, this is the main topic of the challenges. We talk about the winning in trading a lot. We post our successes, but there are the challenges, and everyone's gonna face them. So don't feel alone in it.
Mhm.
Great challenges and defeat. When this occurs, breathe and let go of everything in the moment. Like just let go of like that feeling like I have to be somewhere, or I have to be something, or anything like that. And it's just coming to the breath and the stillness of hearing the breath, just hearing to the sounds in all directions, accepting all the sounds in all directions, accepting our heartbeat. And in that process, we'll notice our heart rate will start to slow down. We'll feel peaceful, we'll feel more connected. And then at that time, I like to remind myself that the market will not go away. It will not go anywhere. That opportunities are always present. The third step after that is I will observe what I'm feeling, what words arrive, and what thoughts come to me. Don't judge myself. That's very important, not to judge myself when observing, but observe what's going on, can note it down, and then it's objective observation without placing any labels. So we don't want to label ourselves this, that. We don't want to perpetuate the vibration. I think by judging, I've noticed that if I judge myself, I'll perpetuate that vibration to continue on. So when I take myself away from judgment, first to myself, then I won't judge others. and it's just a law of energy of karma. Is like when judgment goes out into the world, it usually comes back as a lesson, and then I start embodying that, right? So because I don't want to embody the things that make me feel uncomfortable, right? We observe them. And then the last question I'm gonna ask myself is, should I continue trading or should I just take a break? And most of the time it's just take a break. It's just take a break. Laugh a little bit if you have to, go can let a little cry out
Go
if
stretch.
need
Go
be.
take a deep breath out.
Yeah. And then from there, like just I like music, so I'll pick up. I got this little instrument right here.
Oh, sweet.
So maybe it could be like, just like play a little music,
Hell
be
yeah.
lighthearted, and
Right
then
on,
come
bro.
back to the markets when we're ready.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
can you share that with me, Amala?
The notes I put.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like a pretty dope pre-trade checklist, and I don't have anything like that. I kind of just, hop onto the charts and like kind of get going. Like I check in with myself emotionally and
Hmm.
mentally just to see where I'm at. But having something like that where I can follow it step by step, I think would be super helpful. So I'd really appreciate
Yeah.
it. Share that,
I'm
dude.
a I think I should post it. I'm gonna post it in the consciousness section of our Discord.
Cool. Yeah, yeah.
Uh and then there it is. And you
Sweet.
can add to this, like if you have this in your notes, add to it, reword it. It's just a few of the many it's a simple little structure, but like uh yeah, I think I was gonna write 5, 6, 7. I'll still add on to it.
Sweet.
Yes.
I'm curious, Amala,
Hmm.
did you come up with your own strategy? Did you take what you've learned from like a couple different strategies? I noticed that you use the Bollinger Bands, and I know that Cody preaches the Bollinger Bands quite a lot in his
Yeah,
course.
I love B bands. Yeah.
Right on.
You want to know some other strategies? Let me pull up my chart so I can show you.
Cool. So, do you have more than one? Do you have more than one strategy that you trade?
I have like the first strategy I do is I will back up until like a monthly time frame or a weekly time frame, and I'll clear everything. I'll remove all the indicators. Like I'll go right here and hide my indicators, and I just get an observation of what's really going on in the general market.
Mhm.
Uh, and look at the current flow uh of the market. And when I notice where we're at a interesting point here in like the US dollar and GBP, because we're in this um is a pretty significant support was here that had gotten broken, and now it's kind of at that level, that area again.
Yeah.
I'll try to identify what's the first main support resistance line or even trend line that's going on. So I go to the first trend line I see, and I really like this one that I had found on Bitcoin, and I want to show it to you. I had zoomed in here, and I found this trend line that I believe it looks really nice on my phone. Let me see if I can get it here the same way. Uh, where it's almost like that.
Mhm.
And I'm almost seeing it because like we're at this place, we're at this area where these wicks have touched 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Um and we're just like so close to that level. So I feel like we're in a pivotable time where um it's such a simple thing, and someone will say, well, maybe I need some more complicated indicators. But I feel like if it breaks above and holds above that type of resistance or that and place support, um it's gonna make some major moves. So I just try to find like one major level, and then from there I'll build it up. I'll find my area that I'm working with. Um, not on Bitcoin, but like on uh on other. I usually trade like USD JPY a lot. So like when I go in there, I'll just find like the area I'm working with, and then I work it like little by little from the higher time frames to lower time frames. But I really like to start. It doesn't even matter if I'm doing like any type of day trading or even as they call scalping, high frequency trading. I really like to see what the overall flow is going,
Mhm.
and then yeah, the system. Yeah, I guess I just kind of found my own flow with where what works with me. And usually it's like if I don't overcomplicate the scenario, and I'll use other indicators. Like I love using B bands because I've had a lot of success with them when they tighten up. I do notice big moves come afterwards. And um I noticed that on the, like you can see here on the macro level, when it tightened up, we got the bounce up. But then even I was noticing here on the lower time frames, I think it was the 4 hour or so, there was, yeah, there was some tightening happening here, and then we had a great move down. So I
Yeah,
use those, like I don't really know what direction they're gonna go when they tighten, but I definitely use it as an indicator to where to a big move coming.
hmm
And then I'll try to see what's the overall picture and where is this going. And honestly, like it can change. So like that's why I have to, at the end of the day, follow my risk management rules. I try to risk like on this actual funded account, I'm doing like half of a percentage or like a quarter of a percent. So like 0.25%
yeah,
risk. Just like starting off small risks. And once I get into the flow, like I almost feel like you're warming when we're warming up, we don't want to put our whole energy into it. So like it's a good practice, I feel like, to risk very small for the first few trades when we're it's the beginning of the trade week, we're getting warmed up. Don't take it too serious, just working on the movements. And
yeah.
then when I'm warmed up and I feel like confident, I feel like in the zone, then I'll go to my 1% risk. Or then, you know, I know that we with Cody I learned 5% max. So if I'm ever feeling, you know, if I'm ever feeling like adventures I have in the past done like a 5%. I don't like it though. It's too much. It's too
Five
much.
percent is crazy high. That's
Yeah.
crazy high. I mean, like I've always learned on a funded account, all the mentors that I've had, risking 1% max. And
Yeah,
maybe
on the funded.
yeah, if you're taking a funded challenge and you're up a few percent, then maybe doing like 1.5 or 1 3/4%, or maybe maxing like on like 2% max if you're really close to your profit target, and you can
Yeah.
still be in profit and even if you lose. But
Yeah,
yeah,
5% is the when they close the account out, right? Five
right.
percent loss. You have to start low. Yeah. So I think it's
On a
different. I think he means that maybe like on a, if we have our own live account that's 100K or something like that, or maybe practicing on a demo.
yeah,
But yeah, I like one. I think 1% is the magic zone. I love doing like a 1% risk or like a 0.5% risk. I love those.
yeah, I think so too, man. And I'm glad you brought up 0.5% because I've been sort of struggling with that lately, thinking that it always needs to be 1%. So if I'm on a challenge account and say I'm in drawdown and I'm
Mm,
down 2.5% and I'm still making 1% trades, I should probably take it down to 0.5% until I get back to maybe break even, and then consider moving back to 1%. Because that's actually the situation that I'm in now. I'm not going to lie. I sort of got tempted into purchasing a challenge because I felt so confident about the strategy that I was back testing, but just
mm.
it's a foolish trade. And now I'm down 2.5% on one of my challenge accounts. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, how do I adjust from here? What are the right moves for me to make? And I'm going to make that part of my risk management strategy. Is if I'm down more than 1.5, 2%, I should cut the risk and then just focus on like super clean setups. And
Yeah, bro. Yeah, maybe shorter. I would say shorter take profits
yeah.
and longer stop losses. Cause like
Mhm.
I would love for situations like this where like I got in down here at the perfect time and I had a very tight stop loss and I'm like and I got like a eight, a risk reward 8.17, but like
Yeah.
a lot of times that doesn't give me much room to work with, and I do end up getting stopped out more often. So
Mhm.
like if I have like a like 2.0, I think I love doing a 2.0. I do 1.5 minimum
Yeah.
myself. I know that some people like they like to do 1-to-1 ratios. I've never tried like doing that. I've always just kept it like 1.5 or higher.
Yeah.
Like 2-3 is nice if you can find if I can find those trades, because even if I fail a couple of times, I just need one to succeed to go back into break even. So as long as I'm not bumping up my stop loss um or my risk, and that's I think that's the most challenging part in the end of the day is like going from even the small jump from a 0.5 to a 1%, or from a 0.25 to a 0.5. um it starts in increments, and it can like snowball effects. So like we really want to catch ourselves whenever we're moving our stop losses, and whenever we're trying to gain way too much. Like it's actually nice if we can ride up to like a shorter distance first and then wait for another opportunity and get right back into it if we think it's going to keep going up. So
Yeah.
like I've been trying to implement more like take profit zones. Like this is my first target, this is my second one, the third. If I think the it's gonna make a big move, and who knows, sometimes can get in a little lower too and get even better deal. And at the end of the day, it's like how I'm feeling, and I think the spiritual work that we do, call it spiritual work, conscious work, call it just like connecting with self. But I think it's just gonna become easier, and I've been playing guitar now for like 15 years, and I swear like one of the first few years it was very awkward and challenging, difficult, or
Mhm.
um places where like it wasn't fully in flow yet. But like I think time is a great teacher, and consistency too. Just keep showing up and non-judgment, just keep practicing. And
Yeah.
um, I think with you being down on that, like it's not the end of the world at all, at all, at all. Like you're gonna be able to bounce right back from it. It just depends to just stay consistent with it, and just like maybe one or two trades open max at a time, maybe just one.
Yeah.
Um a little bit and gain that momentum. I was in the same boat, and with the drawbacks, I was at like my account had gotten down to like 3% actually. And I was just like at that point, like I felt so upset with the slippage that I was ready to like self-sabotage. And I caught myself, I was like, nope, no. I'm not gonna do that again. Cause
Right. Right.
I know it don't solve anything, right? And catching those and catching ourselves, that's a great victory. That's like that's the battle won. And we want to keep having successes with it, because that's I feel like that's even more rewarding than making a successful trade, and to be able to catch myself in those moments.
Oh my gosh, dude, such a powerful point, Afla. And like what you mentioned earlier, relates to like what you just mentioned about having that pause moment where you bring your awareness back to the now. You stop trying to project into the future and get somewhere, and you're like, okay, let me find acceptance with what just happened. Realize that it's not all that bad. I'm just kind of making a drama out of it, and acknowledge that the market continues to move, opportunities continue to come. So I don't need to jump back in. And man, bro, like just what you said, like that is such a win in and of itself. Being able to catch yourself before you react off,
Mhm.
off impulse. because it like it builds, and you know, your
Yeah.
awareness around it becomes stronger, and it gets easier over time. It gets easier to catch yourself when you're like, okay, I'm about to react out of emotion. Let me just take a moment and kind of feel into the body, because I've
Hmm.
noticed that as of lately, man, like I've been doing that way more. It's just like feeling into my body, like bringing it back to the sensations that are coming up, the emotions that are coming up, and not, just like you mentioned, just like not judging myself for it.
Hmm.
And it's it's making a world of a difference. Honestly, like through the past few years of like meditation and yoga, just within the past few weeks, I've been trying to integrate that more and more and more, to where it's not even like a practice anymore to
Hmm.
uh, bring the attention back to the body. It's just like it's just habit. It's just something that I do.
Hmm.
It's like brushing my teeth. Like I'm trying to get myself out of my head and into the body, like live through the body, not.
Embodiment.
And I'm finding that like I don't know, it's weird. Like everything is happening much easier. There's less tension, there's less contracted energy, and like
Mm.
it's easier to be in like what you mentioned earlier, like that ecstatic state where like you aren't over analyzing anything at all. You know, you're not in your head. You're actually just you're in reality. You're in life. You're not like in some illusion.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
man, you touched on a lot of powerful points, bro.
Thank you, bro. You did too. I like the way you worded all that, and it resonates deeply, and I'm really happy you are are going into this sangha. You're gonna go see some amazing people now and be around some wonderful people, and I believe I've heard of this program that you say is the highest level is well
Samyama.
Samyama.
Samyama. Mhm.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Well, you said you have a strict diet during the time. Are you gonna be meditating? What does that look like for you, the schedule?
Yeah, dude, absolutely, absolutely. So, in general, like I have a pretty strict diet.
Mm,
I live on liquids mostly, like maybe 4 or 5 days out of the week. It's mostly for me like herbal teas, honey, and like citrus juice, because I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I don't have access to like, well, I do have access to tropical fruit, but it's coming from super far away, which means it's not
mm,
ripe. It's really expensive, and just the quality is not there. So for me, it's better, it's easier, more affordable to just herbal teas, local honey, and lots of OJ. So
mm,
that's not part of like the prep for the program. That's not a requirement. But for me, to have like higher energy levels to keep my sadhana intense, I found it to be the most beneficial. But to answer your
mm,
question about what the prep is going to look like for the program is they want you to be on mostly raw, minimum 50% raw, no stimulants, so no coffee, no tea, no alcohol, of course, no garlic, no onion, no chocolate. Um,
mm,
and the practices that we've learned, there are prerequisites. So the
mm,
practices that we've already learned, we need to be doing them twice a day instead of just once a day.
mm.
And the program itself, I can share my screen with you actually, and I can bring up the
Oh, yeah.
each.
Me, I think you can share now. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, cool. Desktop. You let me know if. Okay, I have to open my system preferences.
Okay.
Just give me a second here, bro. So, oh, that's whack. Okay, I can't because it'll require me to quit and reopen, and I don't want to have to do that.
Oh, let me try something. I'm gonna
Okay,
make you the host. Let me see if
sure,
that
sure.
works.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So, all right, sweet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where am I at? Safari share.
Yeah,
Okay,
there
sweet.
we go. I can see it.
All right. Let me so this is what this is the description of the program. So Samyama with Sadhguru at the Isha Institute. That'll be held here in Tennessee. And so it says Samyama is a state where you become fully aware that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the world
Mm,
around.
mm,
And yeah, I've gone through all of their programs, all of the prerequisites, and they've all blown me away. Like, my experience of the body is just, man, the body is like, it's light, it's so easy to handle, and it participates. I get full cooperation from my body, and it's not it's not an obstacle, it's not a hurdle. And I feel like for most people, their bodies don't fully cooperate most of the time. And so that in and of itself has been a huge blessing. But
mhm,
yeah, Amala, I decided on this because I have just come to a place within myself where I feel like I have exhausted so many of like my safety strategies, if you will. So
mm,
many of my ways of getting away from myself, getting away from the present moment. Although I do all these practices, each morning I do like 3 hours of hatha yoga, followed by like a kriya, which is like breath work, and then a meditation, and then two more meditations in a day, and then some evening practice. I still have my coping mechanisms. I still have my ways of like, kind of numbing myself. And
mm,
I want to like cut out all that bullshit. I want to just like,
mm,
I want to get out of my own way, if you will. So
mm,
for me, that's the motivation behind this, man. Like I've I've uh I've come to a place where like the sadhana has become really intense. The practices have exploded in such a way where it's like, all right, I need to see what this is all about. Experiencing yourself as something beyond the body, beyond the mind. I need to get a taste of this. So yeah, so if you read here, Samyama is an intensive residential program conducted by Sadhguru. Participants spend 8 days in complete silence with long hours of meditation. It provides the possibility for individuals to free themselves from the bonds of karma and purify the system, opening them up
mhm,
to subtler realms of experience. The program presents potential participants to reach heightened levels of consciousness and experience explosive states of meditativeness in the presence of Sadhguru. So
yeah.
it's
Whoa.
it's pretty intense. Like I've done what's called Bhava Spandana, which is one of the prerequisites for this program,
Mm,
and it absolutely took me to my limits, to where like I didn't know who I didn't know who I was. And I know we both know that the spiritual path, a lot of it is breaking down so much of who you think you are. We're breaking down the layers
mm,
of the identity. And I was pushed to those limits where I felt like I was going to like absolutely crack. Like I didn't know who I was in these really, really challenging and difficult like circumstances. And what came of as a result of it was just like a certain ease within myself, and
mm,
a great distance between like me and my body and me and my mind. Like I can most of the time see whenever I'm creating illusion, whenever I'm creating drama, whenever my mind is coming up with all kinds of nonsense, and I'm
mhm,
over
mhm,
here, the mind's over there, and I can have that space, and over time that spaciousness has grown.
mm.
It's become bigger and bigger, and I just whenever you decide on this spiritual path, it's like, I have to go all the way, It's like, why
Right,
not go
right.
all the way? Even though we don't really know what all the way is, like what's all the way?
This
We
is
can't
really
just
great because it gives your whole existence a break, like it really is a break on the nervous system, to allow
stimulate.
your body to do some goes to go to even deeper levels of healing and being around. It's almost like what's that called, osmosis, when you're around great people, their energy rubs off, on you, and being around Sadhguru, who has been practicing for so many decades now, and since he was a little boy. um it's powerful because he too, just like anyone that has been on the spiritual journey, has had to go through the challenges of the mind and what at one degree or another, and but is able to find the tools to rise above. And then he has that excitement now. I won't even call it excitement, but I will say like a that drivenness to share that with others, because he knows that that is the one of the best contributions to the world. Because just to separate the mind from the
Sorry
self.
for that ringing, bro. There's like this little like security door over there, and it's super loud. I'm sorry about
Oh,
that.
oh, all good. I didn't notice it too much. Yeah, I would say I'm happy to know you and to connect with you before going to this journey, and that we even have we're getting more and more conscious people joining our community, and it's nice we get to meet one another. And I'm sure as you spend more time in here and I spend more time in here, we're gonna meet some cool people that are there that we didn't even know, who we haven't heard from them yet. You know, we don't know what type of amazing path they've been on. And it's beautiful, man. I'm thank you for sharing that with me. It inspires me because like that type of practice is what changed my life forever. My mom's a yoga instructor, so I started doing yoga when I was like 5 years old, 4 years old, young
Right on.
age. And
Yeah.
she really loved Kriya Yoga. So there was a Kriya Yoga center, Paramahamsa Yogananda started in South Florida. And we would
Mm,
go, we would drive there. It was out in the country with my whole family. I remember um one of his students, his disciples, his name was Baba Hari Hari Nanda. And he was like 90 something years old. He's standing up straight, healthy, big beard, white hair, um, all in saffron because he's a renunciate,
wow.
and just living like radiantly. And he would always spend time in the garden. So my mom and dad, whenever they're going through anything challenging, they will always go see Baba Harinanda, and just being around him, they calm down, they would feel peace. He'd be like, oh, he had this simplicity about him, just like asking them how they were and really meaning it, but at the
Mm,
same time, like being like, you could tell like completely on the spiritual level, on the spiritual platform. And that's made a big impact on my life. And I remember really connecting with Om for the first time, doing the powerful mantra of Om. And uh and just like I remember feeling that feeling of like that silence right after the Om, and just feeling myself, and almost like as a little kid having the experience of like coming to self and being like, whoa, like I know how to breathe, I know how to calm myself down. And it's something that uh I know that they're starting to teach in universities now too. They're starting to see the value of meditation. It's
yeah.
becoming more popular around the world, and it's actually I think it's the number one thing making an impact on the world and making change, is that raising of elevation of consciousness,
Mm,
because it's one less person participating in the quote unquote rat race, and becoming and really fulfilling their dharma, being exactly who they're meant to be. I think the embodiment aspect that you mentioned is so important too, because uh as we're getting more familiarized, it's almost like it becomes like a ceaseless flow of like you're bringing yourself, you'd be driving the car, you'd be in the airport, you'd be talking to people, you'll be listening actively, and you're in a meditative state, reminding ourselves of who we are. And it's like the meditation never really ceases. Like sometimes we think that, oh, I have to be at the temple at this particular time, and that's very helpful and is very powerful. And at the same time, when we leave the temples and we leave the place of gathering where we're charged up by the other people's association, it's like, how do we bring that out into the world and hold on to that? And one of
mm,
my biggest practices lately has been like when I'm in that state, like to retain it, to retain that energy. And sometimes it just feels like just like, yeah, that rising of the energy from the lower realms to the upper realms, to the crown. And then a lot of visualization of like, okay, I got God's life air, breathing life into me, into my crown chakra, into my fontanelle. And from there coming into me light from the universe. And every time I breathe in, we're breathing in like living energy, like that has all that what we need to thrive. And that's why for you, like I see you saying you're juicing a lot and you look healthier than ever. And I think
Thanks,
that
man.
that's what the diet is one of the most important things. When I became vegetarian 9 years ago, it changed my life forever, and I haven't gone back since. Um and I will just say that like the it's a holistic thing. It's a holistic thing. And now I think part of our journey and lesson is learning how to have that abundance of financial like sovereignty, freedom, and like to levels like I'm talking about like having amounts like $1 million, $10 million, $50 million. It is possible, and it's something that if good people had access to that type of money, they would be able to do so much for the world. um I can think of a few things I would do, like opening up a studio for people to come meditate, do yoga, and have some good food or something like that. I
Oh
can
yeah.
I can visualize myself having some farmland with a bunch of beautiful plants growing and feeding people, and I can see myself opening up farmers markets and like so like I think that because if you see a lot of like Krishna, right, and you see his old stories and you see some of the old stories of the Vedas, you'll see that a lot of these devotees or people that were connected with spirit, they sometimes they actually had a lot of opulence and abundance, but they were never attached to that wealth. Like you would see they were actually dressed in the finest clothing with the most beautiful ornaments, with beautiful flower garlands and the aromas. Like they it talks about them having access to sandalwood oils and rose oils and all kinds of beautiful aromas. It's like the sattva gun. And I feel like abundance in the right frequency is that Shuddha Sattva, where in which we are able to have all avenues of life connected with God fully, because like the energy of itself of currency is a representation of what we give value, and everything of value comes from the same source, which we see as Mother Nature. And then Mother Nature, the energy in is a frequency vibration that comes from the original vibration, the original source of all energies. And so the more we tap into that, the more we they call it sharanam, to just let go and feel that freedom of that. I would say almost I think the flow state for me, when we're in the flow state, it is that communion with divine. It's that liberation. It's that feeling when we fully accept ourselves and others, and we're embodying unconditional kindness and
Mm,
treating people in that way, and treating the world in that way. That's the most abundant thing. I swear that the more we exhibit like loving kindness to one another, the more we uplift one another, the more we benefit as well. So the more of the if the world all did this to one another, encourage one another, uplift, be there for one another, not to judge based on external, not to judge based on anything, but to really empower, even from the youth, from when we're little kids. And then I know I'm kind of going in a I'm getting a little in the flow of this, but like even from when we're little kids, it is super important to be empowered, to be spoken to um as if we're knowing, and as if we're equals, because that creates a powerful foundation for the humans, the pure human energy to really blossom, and not to feel like it has to be something else.
right.
And it's one of the ancient African practices is of recognizing your child as the divine coming into our lives. Like that's what the Ankh represents, is when the feminine and masculine energies come into harmony, everything they create is in harmony with nature and is of the frequency of life. And so that's what I had that flow coming through me, and I let it out here to yeah, to just is beautiful to speak about that. To me, it makes me feel happy of
Mm,
to talk about this type of vibration, if and to know that we're on this path. We're on the path uh to being the change we want to see in the world, as you know, Gandhi coined that phrase. And I think that that is the greatest change, is really to put down all worries and doubts, and come back to self. Like that would end a lot of wars if people will just like say, okay, let me put down the weapons and the judgments and all that stuff. Let me just connect with the reality situation. Oh, that person has two eyes just like me. They got teeth on their smile. They got ears on their head. Look, they got hair, they got the hands, you know. So there's so many more similarities, but I think that can only be perceived in that loving awareness, or else
mm.
people can see so many differences that are illusory. As I think you mentioned earlier, really nicely, you used the word illusory, and I think it is an illusion that disconnects. And I'm happy we're doing the work to heal our ancestry, to heal the earth, and less violence, you know, ahimsa, to really, um, yeah, man. And I can see us having a lot of abundance in our group. Like a lot of us are still on the beginning paths of our trading journey, and as we're going through life, it's just going to become more and more flow, and it's never the end. It's always an opportunity there. Most definitely, most
Yeah, man.
definitely.
Dude, beautiful sharing. Thank you so much. Like that was, I was really feeling that, man. And like as I hear you speak, and I feel myself like elevating. I feel myself getting into like a bubbly state because so much of what you're saying is like ringing home true for me, especially about how it starts at a young age, like empowerment, and between the ages of like 0 and 7 is when everything is getting absorbed. So like that initial programming is so key, and I've struggled with that a lot, Amala, honestly, like in reference to money and abundance and accepting. Like it it takes like a deep investigation of oneself to, for me it was to like stop the self-sabotage of lack, of like putting myself in situations of lack. Because it's amazing that you know your mom was a yoga instructor and you were raised in that sort of spiritual environment. And that's beautiful, bro. Unfortunately, I wasn't. I mean, I wouldn't say unfortunately, because I'm grateful for everything that I've gone through and for my upbringing, because it's provided me an opportunity to step onto the spiritual path. Because if not, who knows what I'd be doing right now. But besides the point, yeah, I've struggled with that. I've struggled with the money beliefs that my parents have, sort of conditioned me with, as far as like never feeling like we have enough, um, always feeling as though like what we do have, we have to like, how do I say it? We have to like take it all almost, if that makes sense. So like, for example, when it comes to food, like we always need to finish everything as if we're not going to eat again. Like that was one thing that as a youth, my parents always would force onto me, like, you better finish all your food, or you're not going to leave the dinner table. And it's something that followed me into my teens and into my adulthood, is like, I always
Mm,
feel like, oh, like there's a lack, so I have to consume as much as I can. And I'm trying to sort of reprogram myself to where like there's more than enough.
mm,
There's abundance, and it's there, so you don't have to sort of consume and consume and consume in all forms, whether it be like in the form of food, whether it be in the form of like purchasing things online.
mm.
There are many different expressions of it, but
And trading too.
trading too, yeah. Always felt like you had
I
to
catch that tendency in myself too, because my father too, he was pretty strict. He'd be like, you better finish your food or you're not gonna leave this table, you know. You're gonna get too skinny and stuff, like he would say to me. But like, yeah, those things, those type of words, like it definitely sticks around. And through, I like to use the analogy of a diamond. In it is made in the depths of the earth, surrounded by heat and pressure, and
Mm,
over time it becomes a diamond. And I feel like it didn't come without challenges to come to where we're at. And in that process of becoming more aware and embodying more love, embodying more of ourselves, we are starting to open up past the chapters of great struggle, back into this type of harmony where it's more effortless. It's like, it's not like we're not doing anything, but like, instead of struggling through the activities, it's like it starts to become like more of an ease, and we remind ourselves to calm down when things become difficult, and we all almost start to embrace the discomfort as a good thing. Like, I've noticed that with people on this path and journey, is like they interpret challenging situations differently from the ordinary person. The ordinary person will can tend to uh not see the full picture, but as we become more conscious, we start seeing the challenges as an opportunity to grow.
mm,
And the opportunity to grow will not be there unless we push past our comfort. And we also know when to rest, because if we're always pumping, it's not actually the exercising itself that is building the muscle, but it's the rest afterwards that recovers. Because it's actually, what's happening is we're making those tears into our muscles, and we're pushing past our limit, is actually working the muscles a lot. But then it's in that time of rest, in meditation, that we are able to assimilate, to regather what we have learned, and embody it. And that's why with people, I've seen with the best results. I got a brother, he's so into fitness, he's such in good shape, and his secret is that consistency of knowing when to rest, because he
mm.
can push himself like real strong, but he knows when to rest. And that's what gives him like these results, and it's with everything else in life. And that's why I almost see this retreat for you is a definitely an activation and a higher connection. In one sense, it's a certain kind of fast from society, from the world, the hustle and bustle, even from trading, from everything. I would say that during that time, you're just there, present, and that's all that really matters and exists. And
Right.
that feeling that I can leave tomorrow this world and I'll be satisfied and happy. I don't need any material possessions in the end of the day. Those are just a bonus of who we are, a reflection of who we are. And the
Exactly.
more we refine, we're just gonna have nicer things around us, because the energy just attracts the like energy. And that's why people that take things by force, they can't ever keep those things for a long time. That's why all the empires, they've fallen, because it's through force that cannot keep the free spirit. And so every Roman empires and Babylon and all the old kingdoms, they've all fallen after some time, and all the emperors fallen, because force is not the way. Is actually the way of the Tao, is non-forcing, is to embrace more of that yin, that allowance. And like, we open ourselves to the creative hand, and we just observe the creative hand around us, like, yes, that's the one, that's the stuff. I don't even have to do anything. I'm just gonna connect here with the source, and that's it, man. I'm good.
Dude, Amala, so well said, bro. And I'm curious if you've struggled with integrating that effortlessness, and
Mm-hmm.
if you've been able to observe when you are making things difficult on your, like when you are because coming from the Western mind, our approach is that we want to grind. We want to, it's almost like we want to struggle. We want things to be difficult because that's how, for most people in the Western world, that's how we're raised. We're raised like grind, you know, eat, sleep, train, work, work, work. And
Hmm.
for me, I'm trying to find that integration as of lately, that things can be effortless. Of course, we're going to have challenge, and like you said, the challenge is the opportunity to grow. And but yeah, it's just for me, like I'm really trying to find that integration of effortlessness and not engaging in self sabotage, because like there's like a subconscious urge to like make things difficult, make
Hmm.
things more challenging than they need to be. Like this, I feel like trading for me can be very, very simple, and it can be easy and I can make a lot of money from it. But sometimes I have a difficult time accepting that. I have a difficult time accepting I can be on the charts for an hour or two and make a ton of money and like be free as hell, you know?
Hmm.
Because my mom isn't free, my dad isn't free. They both work 9 to 5 jobs. They both like have beaten their bodies into the ground because of it. So everything around me is reflecting grind until
The
like
grind, the grind.
pretty much in the grave, you know?
Right,
Like
right, right.
abundant lifestyle is not free. It doesn't come easy, but it fucking can. Like
Hmm.
I mean, we've got to put in the work. We've got to study. We've got to, we've got to do what we need to do in order to like figure out this trading. But once we're
Yeah,
there, it doesn't need to be like a huge struggle anymore. So
for
I'm
sure, bro. I will say I like this saying that um that in doing what you love, you're not working a single day in your life.
mm, yeah,
You hear that? And and it really comes down to like how we're feeling. For me, I currently work as I'm managing the best acai bowl shop in all of Hawaii in the North
mm,
Shore, Surf Town. I got a lot of cool people that I come across, and it's fun a lot of the times, but it has its challenges because it places me in a situation where it's my responsibility, so I gotta be there, right?
mm,
Uh,
yeah,
I gotta be in customer service when sometimes I don't want to associate with anyone. I just want to be by myself. I have days where I just want to be alone, and I feel overwhelmed, and I feel like um I'll even hear myself in my mind saying it's not fair and all kind of stuff, because like in the end of the day we want to do what we want to do.
yeah.
And so because it's such a simple process to trade, yet very few can achieve it.
Mm,
That gives me more patience to know that uh my eyes are on the finish line. So if I gotta conserve my energy at certain times, and sometimes we gotta build up money before we can like plain straight up walk from away from our job. I'm getting paid really well. I'm getting paid a lot better than I have my entire life.
mm,
And because I'm getting a consistent flow of income, it is in one sense, it is a little bit of a comfort to have that consistent flow. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. Like I won't say that because I'm not a full-time trader and that's all I do, that I'm not a successful trader. I still feel that I'm a successful trader because I have not given up on trading. And every time I get an opportunity to trade and I'm in the zone, I go for it. And I think that it was Bruce Lee who said, "I fear not the man who has practiced thousands of different kicks and punches, but I fear that man who has practiced one kick thousands of times."
mm.
Oh, that person is very scary.
Huh.
And and that's really, what it comes down to is like the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise won in the end of the time, the race, because uh tortoise was not competing, comparing, judging. Tortoise was just cruising, chilling, just like, I'm having a good time right here. And the hare got all over caught up in trying to succeed, and got a little too confident, took a little nap, and woke up a little too late and missed the opportunity, was so close to the finish line too, right? But uh it really is that way with trading. When I approach the market, like I've come to the market, I swear I've come to the market as the hare. I will not lie. I've come in there being like, all right, let's get this, and then I will see myself spending hours just to get back to the same exact place I started. I've been there where I'm like, up. I've been to places where I'd be like watching my price go to the perfect place where I originally wanted to take profit, but I had a higher goal of my profit, and I knew I should have taken my price off, but I didn't, and then it goes back and hits my stop loss. I've been there. I've been I've been a lot. I've experienced a lot in trading, and it's because of my personality type. Is like when I like to do something, I go all in, and I'm like, I'm spending hours on the charts, hours trying to figure it out. I'll go watch videos, study. I've gone over Cody's course, like I keep going back to this day when I need to refresh price action or for anything. Just like go back to the and and I realized that type of that goal is sometimes not the solution. The best trading I have is like when I'm able to just feel grateful, slow down, and be present with my life. And I've been having this practice, like how can I feel grateful in my workspace instead of like complaining about my work, which I don't like to. I don't complain too much, and I don't really see people complaining much around me. But I've seen it in the past for sure, and I will say that it makes being there even more challenging because suddenly my mind really wants to be away from there, and then I can't be embodied.
Mm,
And some of the most powerful transformations I've had, it was in my workspace when I was able to, and I've been doing this for a while now. It's not like I don't struggle with this anymore, but when I first got into working and when I first got into the flow, it was after being a monk for 5 years. So I had no bank account. I had no attachment to money, actually, no attachment to money.
wow.
And I started coming at money in a different perspective. I was having fun making money because I realized that like it don't belong to me. It comes from nature. So as long as I'm cool with nature, I can have as much money as I want. I started expanding my mind like that because like my family did not think that way. My family thought you had to grind and struggle, or you had to sell out and do something you don't like to do.
Mm,
And I realized ever since I came out to Hawaii, I just been doing what I want to do. And I have fun. I have fun with my workspace. I know that when I transition out of that work, I'm gonna do it in a respectful way, like where I'm gonna communicate with the guy who owns the shop, who I collaborate with, and I'm gonna express to him what's going on in my heart, and I know he'll understand. And that's the type of like experience I want to create in the world, is like more understanding, more open communication. And I feel like just facing it, and then setting some goals for ourselves, some landmarks, or is it milestones.
yeah.
So it doesn't feel like we're trying to get everything all at once, but like, okay, I'm gonna get a little milestone. Let me get up to here. Let me get to here. Let me get to here, and then that encourages us. It gives us motivation. My One of my gurus, he likes to say, it's better to have thousands of victories in a day than one massive victory that was very difficult to achieve. So he says, break up our goals into small bite-sized things that we're like, okay, I finished that bite, I finished that one, then that's how for me I get into a flow state when I get out of the big picture, because the big picture can be overwhelming sometimes. Like, what's going on here, right?
Yeah. Agreed,
It's
bro.
but like the little steps, like then I bring myself to the moment. I start breathe again, and I say, "Ata yoga anusasanam." Yoga is happening right now in every moment. So I'm just gonna be present. I'm gonna be present, and that's helped me so much, man. Because I've had challenges. It doesn't come without challenges. That's the thing. Is like the challenge is gonna come, and it's like, okay, it's happening again. How am I gonna react differently?
Right.
you know and usually the answer for me would have been to like, I gotta slow down, man. I gotta slow down. Because I start moving too fast. Oh man, I'll lose track of my speed and I'll run into something.
Right. That's when your sadhana is really tested, when you face challenges, when things come up, you know,
Mm, mm,
that's when the
mhm,
practice is put to the test, man. It's easy to just, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's one thing to just be in isolation and do your sadhana. But like when you're out in the world and like you have those triggers, and like you said, to just notice how you respond to them. And
mm,
if it's like an impulse or if it's like a compulsive response and just kind of giving that a little bit of space,
mhm, mhm,
big thing, man.
mhm. Yeah. So, man, it's a beautiful journey and a nice conversation we're having here. We can totally make this into a podcast. I guess that's what it is for our Discord. We got like a mini podcast Discord series.
Dude, that'd be
That,
tight. That would be
that's
tight.
the idea. And eventually, it'd be cool like to have others like hop on live and flow through their charting process. Like I would love to hop on a call with you another time, just see how you flow through the charts and just get that recorded. Later on, you can check through your recording too and just see how you flow through it,
Dude, I would
And
love to. I would love to share like how I chart and kind of what I'm seeing while I do my analysis because I'd love to get like another set of eyes, another perspective on it because sometimes you can convince yourself of something, but it's not actually there. You know, like you're doing your analysis and you're like, oh, I see this. Like price is totally going to go in this direction, but you kind of just that's not always the case. So it'd be
Mhm.
really refreshing to sort of get another set of eyes. Absolutely.
Yeah, bro. Hey, amazing to talk to you, bro.
Me too, man.
What time is it now? Right now is about to be 5. I feel like it's a good flow for us to conclude our video and something I've been trying to get better at because I get the magic becomes more magical too when there's a good ending, just like a song comes to a nice close and
Absolutely.
um and yeah, practicing that in life, like yeah, bro, it's beautiful. It's nice to see everything in the conscious lens, right? Like life
Mhm.
has become so much better with meditation, with
My God,
yoga, with healthier eating.
dude, the spaciousness and the freedom that opens up and begins to yield more and more and more. The more you sort of sink into yourself, the more self intimacy that you develop.
Mm,
It's like, what's whenever you can see your mind projecting into the future or like creating this fantasy and you bring yourself back to it, you bring yourself back to the now and you ask yourself, well, what's wrong with now? Because we all have big
mm,
goals, we all want to make a lot of money, we're all looking forward to something. But I think like the biggest spiritual work is really like, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with right
mm,
now? What's wrong with the sensations that are coming up? What's wrong with the emotions that are arising? And like sinking
mhm,
into that because we're always trying to get somewhere, you
mm,
know, whether it be 5 minutes from now, whether it be next week, whether it be an event that's happening next month, we're always trying to get somewhere and that's happening in our minds. But yeah, like the biggest spiritual work is like bringing yourself back to this and asking like, what's wrong with this? And finding
mm.
total acceptance with it, man. And that's something like, I'm sorry to like go on a rant right before we end it,
Oh,
but
I love that, man. Keep going, keep going. Keep
that's
going.
something that I'm really trying to work on as of lately, Amala, is
Mm,
bringing myself back to right now, bringing myself back to what's coming up, and clearly seeing like the illusory nature of fantasy projection. Like
mm,
I'm thinking it's going to be so much better than it is. You know, if like I have something
mm,
something exciting going on in a week, and then in my mind I'm telling me I can't wait for that, and then like it's almost like I'm living it in my mind before it's actually happening, and I'm not in the now. So like the mind body synchronicity, the mind body harmony isn't there. It's like my mind's
mm,
doing this, my body's here, and my emotions maybe somewhere else doing something else. But yeah, I've made that like a real strong intention of mine on the daily is whenever I catch myself projecting into the future to bring it back to the body, bring it back to the sensations which are arising, the emotions which are coming up, and
Mm,
like kind of sink into it. Because I've noticed that when I start to project, there's like sort of like a contraction that I feel within like my stomach. You know, there's like some tense energy
mm,
whenever I start to get away from what's right now. Because
mm,
you know, in a way, whenever we start to project, it's like we're not accepting of the present moment.
mm.
You know, and that's like the I feel like that's as I hear myself say it, it's like a wow, man, like yeah, like the more I think about that, like whenever I start to project in any way, it's like I'm not accepting of what's right now. I'm
Mm,
finding some sort of conflict in the way that things are right now.
exactly.
So yeah, Amala, bro, it's a subtle kind of work, man. It's like it's
Yeah.
super subtle.
It's the work that I think that it's been what everyone's trying to figure out in their whole life, you know. It's what everyone's trying to figure out is like, how can I have that satisfaction from within?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and like
absolutely.
Bob Marley, he sings that song. He says, "Satisfy my soul,
Mm,
satisfy my soul."
hell yeah.
And it's the truth. Like we all looking for some happiness in life, and we really define that for our experience. And I think that's what makes meditation like it confuses a lot of people who have never tried it because it looks counterproductive to feeling that satisfaction that and that like getting something done like what we want to project because like we want to win, we want to succeed, and it's easy to get
Yeah,
worked up. And that meditation is like really has helped us to come to terms with who we really are and learn to accept ourselves on deeper levels, to and to really be here in the present moment and be grateful for the for our life, for the fact that we're still living. Because like I think the biggest projection that everyone's afraid of is obviously what happens after this life, right? And what
yeah,
happens to our loved ones after this life and all kinds. That's like the biggest question on people's minds, and why everyone feels in a subtle way they need to rush through life to like, I got to get everything done before that time comes. Like, but
mm,
sometimes like in the spiritual journey they talk about like we die before we live, and that what that really means is to I've come to realize the idea of death in itself is just a complete illusion, because energy has always existed, we've always existed.
mm,
We were never in a place where we did not exist, and in that existence goes through phases, and how the ancient Kemetic uh way of view, which also known as Egypt in the hieroglyphs and all, they actually spoke about the trans how the child goes through doorways, and the doorways of one reality to another. So like for instance, we go from our father's heart in the time of conception to our mother's womb, right?
mm,
And we existed on that level, in that existence, in our father's heart and our mother's heart, honestly, because I think the in a situation the elements are in both beings. And then we go through this doorway of conception, and then we're living in this reality, in this universe that's in complete darkness in our mother's womb. And then in our mother's womb we're completely connecting with our mom, we're like weaving with her and receiving nutrients from her, and it's a reality of uh in best case scenario safety, protection, and shelter. And then we have to go through another doorway into the world, passageway out of our mother's womb into the world which we find ourselves today, and we're in this experience that is also different. And then when death comes, it's actually another doorway into another existence, which is also different from this existence.
Mm,
And yet it's all very familiar because we're eternal energy, you know, and uh I like to think of it as like we're borrowing energy from nature all the time. Like the atoms in my cells are always changing. I'm always eating food. Like we had to eat food and we had to pass we take energy in, we let energy out every single day. We energy in and out with our breath, with our food, when we use the bathroom, whatever it is. It is a cycle of nature. It's a give and take. That's why I can't just keep breathing in, breathing in. If I just want to take, I have to give eventually. I have to let out,
right.
and that's why the external the waves they come in and out, in and out, and it is a great analogy for life. I will suppose if I will say is to realize that everyone goes through the coming into existence, coming out of existence, but that's only our perception. We always exist. So I came into the world empty-handed, so-called empty-handed. I know I had a lot to carry into this world. But I will leave this world too without any holding on to anything material anymore. And I think that that's another thing too, is like I think meditation teaches us to embrace all the transitions of our life, embrace our age. I want to be the person that ages and loves being old. I'm gonna let my hairs come out gray. I'm a I'm a I'm a I'm a age with with acceptance, you know,
Great, brother.
with grace. Yeah. And that's kind of is what it is, man. I feel like we're gonna keep coming back to this moment, and every time we come back to the moment, we're gonna better ourselves. We always expanding, you know.
Mm,
Uh, uh, I think God by definition is always expanding. Is not stagnant. Is the flowing rivers. Is the winds. Is the waters. So we're part of that. You know, we're part of that infinite energy, and the more we recognize that, we're gonna feel natural empowerment. Sometimes we'll feel like we're being animated by the great spirit, and it's like the effortless action comes in. The more we remember, honestly, is the shravanam. Shravanam Sanskrit is the remembrance. So to keep remembering shravanam, and um not to forget how amazing this life is.
mm,
And it's a balance, right? Because like I'm not gonna, if people are having a bad day too, I'm not gonna go like, hey man, this life is so amazing. It's emotional sensitivity and
yeah.
it's like almost comes like a natural, like we start learning these things through meditation. It's amazing. And through good sangha, Sadhguru. He talks about all this kind of stuff in his talks. My girlfriend loves Sadhguru. He was the first person who introduced her into like the philosophy of the spiritual walk and yoga more
Yeah.
deeply. She read his book
Right.
Inner Engineering,
Mhm.
loved it, and I think she even went to some kind of satsangas with him in the past. I don't know if he was at Bhakti Fest that one year or something, maybe.
Could have been.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
he has, a handful of songs that, he hosts. That's
mm.
awesome, bro. Yeah, totally
Yeah, I
agreed,
saw a
man.
conversation with him and Mike Tyson. It was so fun to watch.
Mike Tyson is a funny dude. Like just the way that he expresses himself, it's really interesting and unique.
He's come a long way. He's really deep into the spiritual practice in himself. Like he's really bettering himself a lot, and it seems like
Sure, so much more self-aware and so much more intelligent than he was when he was like into just fighting.
yeah. And when he was going through all the challenges, he went through a lot of challenges, and like I said, the diamond is built in that built in the rough, they say. So,
Yeah, yeah, and
bro,
I
it was
think
amazing to talk to you, man.
you too, bro.
How
You
you
too.
feeling
Maybe I'll
today?
just
You
go
feeling
on.
good?
Hell yeah, bro. So you said it's only like 5 o'clock where you are. It's actually, yeah, you're on Hawaii time, man.
Yeah, bro.
Hawaii
What time
time.
is
It's
there?
9:10 p.m.
Oh, yeah. 4 hour difference, right? So what was
Yeah.
it, Central Time or
No, Eastern. I think it's Eastern. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Eastern?
I don't think there was a time difference between Pennsylvania and Tennessee, so I'm pretty sure this is EST. Let me check my weather app for the weather at home. Oh no, yeah, this is Central. Tennessee's on
Central,
Central.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
because my mom, I know this because my mom lives in the East Coast in Miami, and it's 10 o'clock over there, so it's like an hour difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Oh, there's a saying in Hawaii is aloha. It means we share the same breath. It's also an expression of respect on the soul level, on the breath level, that I acknowledge your life breath. I acknowledge. Oh, I got a helicopter flying over. I don't know if you hear him. I acknowledge the life in you. I acknowledge all the good work you're doing. I see you, man, as a radiant being, honestly. Like when I see you when you first hopped on, I was like, man, this guy got some good mana, got some good energy.
Thank you, bro. I
And
appreciate that.
I was really happy to share this conversation, share this space with you, bro. And I would
Me
love for
too,
you
man.
to hop on whenever I go live in the future, and let's build these connections we all got. We got some good people in this community. So keep doing what you're
Absolutely.
doing. Stay active in the chat, man. You're adding a lot of life to the chat, and I appreciate you, man.
Thank you,
Appreciate you.
bro. And I appreciate you keeping it open in that way because when you're just doing this alone, although I'm in the Discord group, but when you're just doing it alone, when I'm trading alone and I'm not like active in communication with someone, like live communication like this, not just typing, you can't get bogged down by just charting and just doing your own trading. But like to
Mhm.
connect in this way, gosh, bro, it's been so incredibly motivational and inspirational to like, all right, man, like keep pushing forward towards that freedom. Like keep rocking because what you're working towards is so, so, so worth it, man. And there are other people who are in similar situations. So thanks for sharing the
Mhm.
space, bro. Thanks for offering your time in this way. We've been on it for we've been talking for a hot minute, man.
It's a good flow, bro. And we're gonna have this
Was
video ready to
nice
go
flow.
back to, and I think Cosmic Warrior is going live in a little bit. I love the way
Think
he
so?
flows through the charts, so I might hop on there a little bit too. I was gonna give it a
Me
little
too.
break in between, and then tomorrow I'm actually gonna be flowing through the charts. So, when does your satsang begin?
So right now is actually just the pre-Samyama meet. So I have to travel to Tennessee and have an interview process with the volunteers to ensure that this is what I want, this is what I'm ready to prepare myself for, and
Mm.
I think sometime afterwards we'll get like an acceptance of whether or not we can participate in the program. But
Uh,
but yeah, so this is only just tomorrow. I think maybe 1:30 to like 7:30 or something like that. So
okay.
a good chunk of the day, and then I'm just heading back to the airport, back to Pennsylvania for 2 weeks. The 28th, I'll head to Guatemala, Lake Atitlan, just to
Oh yes, you. I love
yeah,
that
man, just
place,
sort of sink
bro.
into my practice, bro.
My sister lived there for like a few years. So I went and visited her there. It's a good place. It's a good energy.
Yeah, so I've heard, so I've heard. Like my biggest thing is to be nestled into nature, a good amount of solitude, a good amount of privacy, and I feel like that's when I'm honestly at my best. Right now, I live in the suburbs with family. I don't have access to like fresh fruit. I know in Hawaii, you're out there thriving on the fresh fruit, bro.
Oh man,
I
it's
I
next
know there's
level.
some banging papayas,
Man,
banging.
some dragon fruit, the real good sweet dragon fruit. Like when they ship the dragon fruit out from another place, you don't get the sweetness. It only tastes like the like watermelon, almost like kind of like plain, like a unripe watermelon. Like
And the papayas are whack, bro. They come in green and
yeah,
they're hard, bro. They're rock
and
hard.
they have a bitterness to it. The papayas on the mainland in Hawaii, the papayas have the perfect blend of sweet and sour.
Mm,
Sweet and sour notes, but more of the sweet notes. And it's not of a sweet that gives you that weird aftertaste that some papayas have. This
yeah.
type of sweet is like that, like almost like if you're biting into a sweet ripe orange or a mandarin that has like that like full flavor. The papaya, I had a my girlfriend and I lived on the North Shore a year ago. We had 7 papaya trees,
Oh,
and on one season they were ripening, and I was getting like 2 or 3 papayas a day. And I would go up there with my fruit picker, and I would open up the papaya and I'll eat it fresh, and it was the best tasting papaya ever. Like it just had the perfect little hint of sour, and I was just like, what is this amazing flavor? I was like, I swear I was giving praises to the creator for that one. I was like, because I can
mm,
know too that when you put your energy and mana into the plant and you're growing it, it reciprocates with you exactly how you want that. I never had better food than the food I grown myself, and it they get to know you, the plants. It's a different level, like next level situation. So I'm looking to even move to Atislan in the future as well, because eternal spring over there. And
wow.
Hawaii is beautiful. We always have a place out here, but I want to travel too. So let's
Yeah, man.
manifest more of that type of traveling, more fresh fruits. I
Yeah.
want to go to Africa too and taste their fruits, because they got a lot of good fruits out there too.
Hmm. Yeah. Certain parts of Africa, like Tanzania, for example. Tanzania has like I've heard they have epic papayas. They actually have durian. If you've ever tried durian, it's like really popular in like the fruitarian community.
Oh,
I'm sure Hawaii. I've seen Hawaii has
man.
durian too. It's like a little more rare,
What does it look
but
like? Let me look it up on my screen.
yeah, dude, durian. It's like this big old spiky fruit. It looks like something from outer space, but it's said to have like these
Oh,
garlicky, caramely, fluffy, buttery kind of notes. It's a pretty epic fruit. I tried it when I was in Bali, and it blew me away. It was really tasty. But I'm more
is
of like a
this is this not it's not the same as sour salt, is it?
no,
No,
different from sour.
no. Different. I'm seeing it here now. Oh, interesting.
Search Hawaii durian. I'm fairly certain like it's like it's in Hawaii. I don't know if it's in all islands or
Maybe
what
it's on the
region of
Big
Hawaii.
Island, because the Big Island has even more fruits. Oh, I look it up on and they're showing me a few fruit stands. I might go pick some fruits up. Oh, Maui has durian, yeah. I don't think I've tasted it yet, man. I'm gonna taste it. I'm gonna let you know how it is.
Yeah, dude, please check it out. This one here says the year of the durian are like these two they have a blog all about durian. Like they literally are like obsessed with this fruit. There's a couple different varieties. And here they says it's at Kava Farm, if you've ever heard of Kava Farm. Um,
Oh, yeah.
that might be like maybe like the mainland, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's definitely something to look into, bro. Like it's a pretty epic fruit. But I feel you, bro. Like literally to have
Fruits and
something
roots.
fresh, ripe, it's coming out of your backyard. Like here in the States, I'm tempted for like the salty stuff. I'm tempted for like the fried stuff because like it's stuff that I grew up on. But when I was living in Costa Rica for about 6 months, all I wanted was fruit, bro. All I wanted was watermelons and papayas and passion fruit and like that sort of stuff is what did it for me. And it was so like it had such an incredible charge to it. Like I couldn't even sleep. Like I was eating this fruit and I couldn't even sleep. I was sleeping like 2 hours a day because I had so much energy from this fresh fruit.
Wow.
Man, and it was like it's just a different vibe. So I know picking it walking outside in your backyard and picking something and having it fresh, it's a different sort of food experience altogether.
I know I
Altogether.
mi- I miss my papaya trees so much. I miss them. They're
And
huge.
I've heard Hawaii papayas are like pretty dank, man. Like they're
Bro,
not
it's the
just like one
it's
kind.
the best.
Yeah.
Best. I can't even describe it, because I never had a papaya that good. I used to not like them growing up, because I had them in Miami, like imported from like Mexico or something like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
or like Dole brand. But like
Right.
when you get the organic one straight from your tree, and even like the shops here, they have the local grown fruits that you can pick up. Farmers markets got tons of good fruits. You got the rambutans, you got the lychees, you got um great different varieties of mangoes, and
Yeah, yeah.
next level, bro. You gotta come visit out here. We're gonna, we gotta plan. I was talking to to the team about this is like it would be nice to have a retreat in Hawaii,
Dude, that'd be sick.
like a trading retreat, And then
Yeah,
I keep saying want to say Elijah because my other brother Cody was saying how like it would be good to have some trading retreats all around the world, Have
absolutely,
some in
bro. That would
Japan,
be
have some in India, have some everywhere.
and like and to be able to attend something like that and learn about like the different ways that you can get into the markets and get into trading, because right now I don't do much of crypto at all. Like I don't do any
Mm.
crypto. You know,
Oh yeah.
um, the funding companies offer you like, you can do Bitcoin, and I think there's maybe one other cryptocurrency that you can trade. What's the other one? It's Bitcoin, and the other like second most popular or second most well-known cryptocurrency that's you can trade with a funding company is
But
it's
Ethereum.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, right. Bitcoin and
Yeah.
Ethereum. So you can trade those on a prop firm, but I haven't, only because like the spreads are pretty wild, and like the slippage can be crazy. So I'd like to get into crypto because Cody talks so much about it, like how you have to have money in it, and it's going to be the future. And if you don't get into it now, like you're playing yourself. So like I want to step into that, and I'm like resistant to it on a certain level, because I'm like I can just do like my GBP, JPY, Euro USD, and be chilling.
Yeah.
But like
Just buy a little bit like at a time, like put like $5 to start. You could do like literally a $5 or $10. And just slowly build up a little bit, like a mini savings account, as I like to think about it,
yeah,
that has epic returns over the years. And right now we're actually in some good buy areas. It might go lower, which I'm really hoping for,
mm,
because you just get more return that way. But I've been loading up on some crypto. I got a good portfolio now, and I got a wide variety. So, would love to in the future, man. I'll hop on a call with you and just show you what wallets I recommend. I will
yeah,
show you, where to purchase, because there's different platforms to purchase. I use Coinbase the most because it has the most variety. You can buy Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, all of them.
yeah.
And there's this website I'll drop into the chat, which I recommend if you want to just do research into what all these cryptos really are, so you can get a better understanding. It's called CoinGecko. I think it's coingecko.com.
You know what? Yeah, man. Like not Amala, not long ago, maybe like within like the past year and a half, I got kind of into like what would they call it? The meme coins. I didn't make any money on
Oh,
it, but I bought into like a little, almost like a Discord group, and they were just kind of dumping, oh, this coin is gonna pump, that coin's gonna pump, and I was using CoinGecko to kind of see what was popular. So have heard of CoinGecko before. But yeah,
yeah.
man, I would love to hop on a call with you just to learn how I can get my feet wet in crypto and like establish myself.
Do you have those meme coins still, or are you holding them?
I never actually bought into anything.
Oh,
I was
good, good.
always hesitant. I was always like, oh man,
Yeah.
it just
They
doesn't. It
all
just
dumped a
weird.
lot recently, and now like they're all pretty much at a very bottom. So like I bought a little Doge, that I don't know that Doge coin. I put like $40 into it just because like there's potential, but I know that I could lose that money and I don't care. Like I'm not gonna put $100 or several
Yeah,
hundred bucks into it.
right.
But
Yeah, man.
yeah, I like to focus more on layer ones, like Solana is my favorite. I like Bitcoin and um Cardano and kind of like these main ones, but they all dumped a lot, so it's really good. It's really actually really really good for you. You have like like you got protected right there. Um, I think we've been through a pretty chaotic bear market. It's one of the craziest ones in crypto history.
Mm.
Uh, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money. So yeah, I think if you scroll up on the crypto chat, you can see some portfolio like of what coins like Cody and I are investing into. And I would
Yeah,
say go a little bit down because like literally $5 on crypto could be like $500 one day.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
could be a little reward for you, your future self. Like and it tests your patience. Just never take it out. Just leave it in your wallets and do them the right way. And you'd be good.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man.
But
I've got,
it's a slow process, you know. I've been doing a lot of research onto crypto, so it's take me a while to really understand what it is. Still confuses me sometimes,
yeah,
honestly.
me too. Me too, bro. Like I know that Cody has like a really thorough understanding of what it is and like how it can evolve and unfold within the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years in reference to that could be like our sole way of transacting. You know, it can replace central banks. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
I can't really speak on too much of that because I don't know too much about it, but I feel like I'd be playing myself if I wasn't to educate myself and like get my feet wet in crypto because I do feel like we are definitely heading in that direction. I was actually talking to I think I was talking to I don't know who it was, but we were talking about how you know these banks basically lend our money out and they charge interest on it and then they make money on like basically the money that we put in the bank, you
Mhm.
know? Like they issue us credit cards, they issue us loans and then you know they also charge us like crazy fees because I recently switched my bank from like a local Pittsburgh bank to Capital One because I was doing some traveling, doing some
Mhm.
transacting, and I was getting hit with these international fees. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. So I changed my bank to Capital One because they weren't charging me any international transaction fees or withdrawal fees. And I thought about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I have what was called PNC, and I put my money in the bank. They loan my money out in the form of loans, personal loans, credit cards, whatever it may be, and they charge interest and they're making money off of what I have in the bank. So it's just like
Mhm.
it, it's just it's weird when you think about it that way. When you think about how banks operate,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it's shady. I've
it
been
is.
with Wells Fargo for a long time, and I don't know I'm still with them. Is just because I've had a account with them for so many years. But I'm actually one of my goals has been to transition out into there's this other bank that Cody had talked to me about where you can even buy crypto on their banking app, which is pretty cool,
Yeah.
straight from their
Wow.
banking app. So I forgot what
Sweet.
it's called. I'm gonna have to ask him, and maybe we could post it onto the chat.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, I think there's definitely a big change happening here in the financial system, and investing into crypto now is like we're really early on. So like, I can't even imagine where the price could go. It can really go beyond people's wildest expectations. Like it has. Like no one ever thought it would go back. It'll recover after it dropped from 10K because like 10K was the first bull run on Bitcoin from like $100, and it went up to 69K this last one. So
Wow.
oh
I think Cosmic just dropped in. I'm gonna
oh
make you
yeah.
the admin, man. I'm gonna if I can. Let me make sure I know how to do that. Because it actually showed up as like me being able to like give him permission to come in.
You click on my little thumbnail where you see my face, the little pop-up menu, and then it'll say create make post.
Make host. Okay, you got that?
Mhm.
Cool, cool, sweet.
What's up, brother Jacob? Are you going live soon? Because I was thinking about hopping onto your call.
Yeah, me too, bro.
Yeah, I was going to see what you was talking about, vibe out with you, but you could take your time and when you're done, I'm waiting like 5 or 10 minutes, then I'm gonna go live right after. So
Oh yeah, we've been we've been trying to end for a while now, but we just got on this last little closing dialogue.
Mm.
Um, but yeah,
yeah.
we basically just talked about just in the end of the day, like the conscious mind is the most important aspect to cultivating ourselves, to be present in the moment, and really to take our time with trading. And yeah, we had some good conversation. I'm gonna post the video later so you can check them out what we talked about. But yeah, I'm gonna end it in a few minutes here. I was gonna end it pretty soon. Yeah. I feel pretty satisfied with what we talked about.
Dude, that was an awesome call, bro. Like literally,
Yeah.
I like that was my first time hopping on a Zoom with anyone and like really flowing and just let whatever come up be expressed openly. And like you held space, I held space, and it was really refreshing, bro. So I appreciate you hosting the live, man.
Thank you, bro. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a good feeling. You know, we see we dealing with the same situations in life, and when we have like community, like sincere community to work with, it strengthens us because we're learning from one another, and we're seeing that we have similar patterns that arise, and like to see how we each can deal with it brings a new perspective, more insight on how to deal with those situations, and how to just really step back, and how to step forward when it's needed to, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to hop on Cosmic Warriors call here, and I know you're gonna start in 5 minutes, so I want to take a little intermediate break in between, and then I'll hop on your call, bro, and let you lead the way. And I'm gonna post this recording onto our consciousness section. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you
Thanks,
again,
man.
man. Let's talk again soon.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. For sure. Cosmic, I'll be hopping on your live too, man. So looking forward to it.
Mhm.
I think he's still, unless he
Yeah,
dipped
he's gonna
out.
go start it up.
Okay, cool. All right, Amala, man, thank you. I'll talk to you
Thank
soon,
you,
bro.
bro. Talk soon.